allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. We do have a quorum tonight, so we can do any business that needs to be taken care of. Is there any additions to the agenda that we need to add?
No.
Real good. Can I get approval of the agenda as it is presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Lee, Chris, Amy made a motion, Chris second. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Do you have any visitors to speak?
No.
Nope. Okay, very good. Okay, routine matters, B1, we have minutes of the executive session of March 13th, 2026, and the minutes of the regular board meeting of March 16th, 2026. Can I get a motion for those, please?
I'll make a motion to pass the minutes of the executive session of March 13th, 2026, and the minutes of the regular board meeting of March 16th, 2026.
I'll second.
Motion and second, all in favor for the meetings, minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I just want to make note that those dates were accurate. If that's incorrect, I'll make changes when I send it out, but at least they voted on the correct date, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I will make a
Okay.
change to that.
Okay. B2, vouchers and financial reports. Can I get a motion to accept those?
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers and the financial reports.
Go ahead.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Tracy, is there anything?
I didn't have
Out of
anything to
order.
point out unless somebody had any questions regarding the annual.
Anybody have any questions or concerns that we need to address?
No.
All in favor of accepting vouchers and financial reports? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Communications, donations, C1. We have a bunch of donations to BTA and a couple of chunky ones again to super high mileage. Totaling over
Okay.
$5,000. No, that's fine.
That was BC.
It's amazing. And Prairie Crossing, we have a donation to the backpack program and books. And nothing for auditor this month. Very good. Thank you for those donations. That's amazing. Fundraisers, we have the Spain trip, athletics with girls soccer, 2 different fundraisers going on currently. C3, curriculum update, Mrs. Fisher.
Thank you. I know, Mr. Kukoc and Mrs. Wynn, you're here to talk about, some updates from their school, but, I think maybe they might be mentioning data meetings, so my part will tell you, some of the origin of, or the sources of the data that they're using, right? So, we'll start with assessments. We are close to being finished. The calendar's closed May 8th, but the iLearn testing is up and running currently. The school test coordinators at Otterburn, Abby Spitznagel, at Prairie Crossing, Amanda Whaley, and at BC, Cassie Dalton, they are the compliance task force. They get online and make sure all of the accommodations for testing are correct. And then when those tests come pushed out, then the students have what they need. They set the calendars and really help with communicating with teachers about staying and being compliant. So we're getting that testing completed. We also have the bio ECA coming up, the IM testing, and Stephanie Watt put together the calendar and pushed it out last night for the AP testing. So all of those AP classes have their own little individual days, those first couple weeks in May. It's the season of testing. Although now it seems like there's many seasons of testing. The NWEA, those scores and results from our year of work will come available the 1st of June, where we'll be able to look at the beginning of year, middle of year, end of year. And then the iLearn results will be available in-house in July, just tentative scores. But those won't be finalized until September because they are actually making some adjustments. And so due to those adjustments that they're making at the state, they won't be available in a finalized form for parents and for us to communicate until September. The multilingual, the WIDA testing scores will become available April 27th. And after that time, Kim Fitch and I will work to, with the ML coordinators to make sure that if we do have a student that is close to proficiency, that they could exit the program. So we'll be working on that and then also making adjustments based on those scores and results. The library updates, we're working on book ordering and processing, subscription renewal, and just promotion of literacy with books in hands over screens. For professional development, March 31st, 7 elementary teachers visited Earhart Elementary for an observation. And then we did have on April 6th, we had our CKLA reading program coach. She spent the 2-hour delay with direct instruction with all teachers K to 5. And then she spent an hour at Otterman in individual classrooms and 3 hours at Prairie Crossing. And April 17th, we had 3 teachers visit Jeff High School and Tecumseh Junior High, and that was another observation. You can see we have some upcoming PD coming with an AI curriculum committee at BC, visit to Ladoga Elementary to consult with the principal there. Abby's initiated a preschool information sharing session, trying to do a little more outreach with the preschools that help our students before they become our students, and more open communication with them. And we are going to have this year's final PSYOP training at Prairie Crossing. In June, there is a Reveal Math virtual training, and that will be recorded for teachers that aren't able to attend on that day. And our final conscious discipline coach visits, Tammy McMahon from Logansport is coming, and she'll spend a day at Otterman, at Prairie Crossing, and at BC. And then finally, we have a summer visit from Dr. Lori DeSaltis. So we're finishing strong with reinforcing a lot of those new skills and strategies we've put into place. In the fall, we are already planning some more PSYOP training, and we're looking at our Benton teacher collaboration days and how those 2-hour delay days will be scheduled. Regarding curriculum, now is the time of year when we make sure that we will have ordered and coming and in place what we need for the start of next year. And I just want to finish with a reminder that everything we're doing is intentional, and that we're continuing our goals of enhancing student achievement and growth through all those things that are bumping up effective instruction, using those high quality curricular materials, and also building our school families and engagement, because we know with accountability, attendance is going to be a big part of that. And so we want to keep up those practices of get them here, keep them curious, keep them coming back, so that we have that boost in attendance and engagement for learning.
Very good.
Do you have any questions?
I was just gonna ask on the professional development observations, is that like CKLA observations that they're just trying, or other things?
Those 2 observations for this year were funded through the behavior grant. So we actually were visiting classrooms because at LSC, they've actually had conscious discipline. This is their 6th year. So we had teachers saying, okay, great, I've learned a lot, I've talked with people, but let me see it in action.
Mm-hmm.
And so these were classroom teachers that were using the practice. Mhm. Okay.
Thank you for keeping everything organized.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate that. Mr. Kukarts.
All right, So I've invited Amanda Whaley up here with us tonight. She's our Dean of Students at Prairie Crossing. She's done an outstanding job. Just so happy with everything that she's been doing. And I wanted her to first be recognized, and I know she didn't probably want me to do this necessarily, but for accepting an award on behalf of Otterburn Elementary at the state for 100% proficiency. Really 95%, but you guys got 100%.
We got 100.
100% proficiency in reading, and that's a great honor. I said congratulations to her, and she said, well, it wasn't just me, and I said, I know, but you played a larger role in it, so congratulations to her. Something also, she's going to present a short presentation on our MTSS meeting, something we're really proud of this year. She plays a major role on that team, along with Chris Burgett and myself, and she's going to share a little bit about what those meetings are and how they've affected our students, teachers, and just our school in general.
Go for it. All right, so data meetings don't sound very exciting, but we found them to be really valuable this year, not just with looking at data, but just how our teachers are working together. I reached out to some teachers and got, before we even start talking about it, what they think is beneficial. And so we had some good quotes. Grace Deno, our first grade teacher, said the monthly meetings are very valuable. We use the data to celebrate progress, identify needs, and find ways to support every student academically and behaviorally. The consistency of meeting empowers us to be proactive and intentional with our data. And I have enjoyed collaborating each month and love seeing the positive impact. And then we jumped down to our sixth grade hallway, and Angie Norman talked about how she liked being able to have a meeting of the minds. We talk about the data, everyone is able to voice their thoughts, and a quick decision is made in the best interest of the student. That decision is put into play immediately, and everyone knows at the same time. And then Chris Burgett, who is huge in our meetings and just getting him started this year. She was a great help. Having regularly scheduled data meetings has provided a valuable time where admin, Title I, RTI, and grade level teachers have been able to discuss academic, behavioral, and attendance progress and concerns together, and it has helped us improve our support of students in all tiers and has ensured that all students in need of support receive it. So move on. So what basics are our data meetings are grade level team meetings. So all of our teachers so if it's a first grade meeting, we have our first grade teachers, we have Mrs. Burgett, and we have Rita Deckard for all of our K-3 meetings for title. And then Mr. K and myself join in. And we started the year, well, I'm not gonna jump there yet. And then we have department team meetings once a month. That is our admin, special programs, Ms. Barr joins us, our speech therapy department joins, our nurse joins.
This is Thurston.
Thurston, yeah, counselor, school-based social worker, Zimbo joins us, and we all sit in there and kind of bring everything we've got at data meetings with our grade level teams in to discuss those things that are coming up frequently, or we need some more talk on it with our team. So it's been really good. But we review our student data. We look at NWA, we look at Amplify, we look at our state assessments, we look at classroom assessments, and we start thinking about interventions. So we're just using data to think about what we're going to do in the classroom. The next one. So this, to me, was like the most surprising thing that's came out of our data meetings this year. And teacher efficacy is one of the greatest impacts on student learning. So John Hattie's a researcher, and if you can read that quote on the left, it's really good. But it talks about teacher efficacy as the greatest predictor of student achievement. So when your teachers are working together and they're seeing the impact of the instruction, that's bigger than home environment, parental involvement, which I would think is one of the biggest things. Yes. So when our teachers are working together and we have a common goal, that's huge. And that's what these data meetings are helping us do. So you can go ahead and go to the next one, please. And we've just noticed, and we'll go into more of what we see, but we've just noticed more collaboration with our teachers. These meetings happen every month, even if we have to reschedule it for a weather delay or whatever, we push it back to the next week. It is an entire day of meetings for Chris and Jake and I, to sit through. It's a lot, but it's worth it. They're really open to change. They're asking questions. They're asking for help. So go to the next one. Here's the biggest thing. Our conversations with our teams have really grown. So you wanted to jump in on this slide. I'll let you.
Yeah, I mean, when we first started these meetings, teachers would come in and you could tell they were a little bit at ease. Okay, what are we gonna talk about? How are we gonna handle things? How's this gonna work? And they're so relaxed when they come in the meetings now. They're just very honest with us. They're very honest with each other. And we can really get down to what needs to happen with our kids. When you go to these meetings and somebody's not being honest, it's hard to get to the nitty gritty of what we need to change. And these meetings have been wonderful just to open everybody up, and the teachers are really feeling good about what's coming out of those meetings.
And so they're specific, like we'll look at data and readjust groups as we're sitting there. I mean, it's quick. It's like, oh, we've got this group, this student's really making growth. We want to move them here to work on a different skill, or to, for someone else who might be moving them to a different group. It just, these two students are working really well together. So we just can make all those changes right there on the spot and start things like the next day, or sometimes we'll start in the next week. But we're having a lot of conversations, and we're getting to have some more challenging conversations, so we can ask oh, what about this, and start to bring in some things to look at it differently. So the next one. So that's most of it. We just want to continue building them for next year. We think they're huge. And just to keep strengthening.
So there's once a month, like an hour for their
during their prep
time.
So our teachers don't have to miss any instruction time. So it's just 40 minutes that we sit down together and look at everything and talk about what we need to change.
They're really efficient now. We got to the point where we run through things really quickly. Sometimes the teachers are done even before the 40 minutes are up, just because they become that efficient with looking at the data. It's been really good to move, like Amanda said, move our kids to what they do need. So they're moving them from one group to another to get the instruction. If they're growing here, if they've got the skills, then we move them up to the tier. And so they've been really good. They've been there, and I think they're enjoyable and fun. It's a long day of meetings, but it's a lot of fun to sit in and listen to teachers collaborate with each other and with us. So.
And our teachers come prepared. I mean, they have their own data binders now or spreadsheets, and they come with exactly what they're ready to talk about. So it's kind of going both ways, letting everybody talk about things. So that's all I have.
I have a quick question on
Yes.
that. Are you guys finding that the data that's coming from the state test is reflecting student performance in the classroom assessments, or is it just so we kind of have an idea?
So the checkpoints don't give us good data yet because our curriculums are aligned to the checkpoints. We would have to realign our curriculum, which Reveal Math has done it for us this year, so we could start looking at that, but CKLA does not, and it would be a big endeavor to do it. And this is our first year, so we're not going to go there yet. So the checkpoints don't give us any data. So iLearn has it, iRead has, and we could look at that list and we knew exactly those students that didn't pass. Oh yeah, we're close, or this is what we've been working on, and we knew that they were struggling. We've been bringing them up, and so we use the DIBELS data we're looking at every time. That's Amplify, to see how they're progressing and to see if we're maybe needing more interventions. We've had students from there go to evaluation after we've continued to provide interventions for a couple of years and they're not making the progress. Then we can look at next steps if they need evaluation or if we're missing something. So we're hoping we'll see it in the next year. But it's also, I'm hoping a year or two of growth. So.
Now the checkpoints, that was across the state. Schools were not happy with the predictor value of that.
Nope.
So we weren't alone in that. So it's time. So then you look for something else that's a better predictor at this point.
So NWA is our best one. And we've had, I know one of the 6th grade teachers, we don't have NWA as middle of the year required. But we had one of our 6th grade that was really working on math interventions and wanted it. And we talked about the growth with students, and their middle of the year scores went up in that class. And we had been targeting interventions to that class because they were kind of split into high and low. And so I tried to pull data right now, but I don't have enough across the board from NWA. Hopefully at the end of the year we will.
And she's good with data. So I'm just so happy that our kids they're not stalemate. They're not sitting there. We're looking at them and we're moving them and giving them the strategies that they need. So it's a good team.
Yeah, I think the format sounds good. Like you're not, and as a teacher, you're not alone. You're on a team, and you have admin support to do the things that make sense for the students. So I think that's really cool that you guys are doing that.
Thanks, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The intentionality is huge, and it didn't happen overnight, because we know that Edie's been in this position for 2 years, and now we're starting to see what happens
Yes.
when we are intentional and purposeful, and then when we can pass it down to the schools, and you can get the teachers to talk about it, because data can be overwhelming, but if they know that you're using it for a purpose, we're making progress, and
Yes.
Edie, thank you for your hard work, and then Jake and Amanda for carrying it out.
Yeah, and I think that alignment helps too, though. Everybody's using the same tools, the same, methodology, and that way your data is reflecting the same result. It's not, you're not looking at this data, this method, this data, and this method, and you can't compare.
Right.
So that is important as well. So appreciate all
Yeah.
all the pre-work that Edie has done to get it to the
Yeah.
down the
I just
stream.
felt like before this, a kid would get shuffled through. They would just kind of keep just enough to get them to the next, and now you're catching that.
It's hard
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
hard
we're
to quantify what they needed.
definitely catching,
Yeah.
like I said.
Yeah.
Giving them what they need. So
I think it started data meetings at both schools last year a little bit, just not as regularly. So it's just that we really tried to focus. I mean, it's hard at Otterburn, I think too, because it's hard to take a day out. Like we're able to pop in and out if we need to for something, but
You had
Do you find in your observations or just casual daily life at school that the teachers relate to each other differently, that they're talking about different things? Because the data meetings, it doesn't end there, it just starts. So do you find that?
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the largest thing from the beginning of the year till now, just the trust. Because we're not gonna bring them in and just be like highlighting all of your negative. We're coming in with a plan of, we see some of these things that need work done and this is where we're gonna start. So we are coming up with a plan as a team and not making it about one person. And highlighting good things that everyone's doing, like, oh, look at this growth here. What are they doing in their classroom that maybe we can try in another classroom or with another school?
I think the teachers feel like it's not a waste of time. We are being intentional about what we're doing, and there's a plan every time they go in there, and they know that we are gonna talk about meaningful things that make a difference, not just, well,
Yeah.
Well, in the smaller schools, I think you have to think about how to manufacture that team, because if you only have one teacher teaching at a grade level, that's tough too. So.
good job.
we made a difference.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay, C5.
Did you guys, there's no judgment if you did want to take off.
Don't have to
Thank
ask you
you.
guys to. Okay, review of ACH fraud monitoring controls.
So this is basically just like a checklist of the different controls that we have in place for our ACH files, where we pay our vendors, through ACH files. And also Kristen sends, the payroll, direct deposits, to the bank through the files. So the bank actually, this is a form from the bank. They want us to start reviewing that we are following these. I mean, we currently have these in place, but we haven't really put them in writing. So these are in writing, the things that we follow for these files. And so we're going to review it with the school board once a year just to see if we needed to make any changes to that. So that's what these are.
So it's just kind of a slight change from what it's been in the past then, as far as the.
It's just in
reporting?
writing
It's
now.
just
Okay.
Official.
Official
review.
yeah, official review,
There
where,
we have the minutes that we did.
yeah.
Okay.
It's the same processes that we've been following, it's just not been in writing, and so we're putting it in writing so that everybody knows.
Well, they're getting tricky out there.
I know they are, I mean, we've put a lot of different layers in place, the bank has helped us with that, so. But yeah, Kristen gets emails all the time, like people trying to change employees, you know, like spam emails. So she doesn't change anything obviously through that, and now that we have Frontline, it's all through there when they change their banking
Yeah.
and stuff, but. So,
It's always, I can't take your call, you gotta reply, cause I'm in a meeting, and they send you, you know, send these replies like, yeah, you are.
Okay, item C6, 2027 budget calendar.
again, that's just some dates for you guys to keep in mind for, when we'll be advertising the budget. And then the work session that we'll have on, August 17th before our board meeting. So,
Are these dates gonna be pretty well set, or can we kind of put these in our calendars and rely?
yeah, I mean, they follow the meeting dates actually follow the actual board calendar. So if there was something, but I think you guys already took into consideration that, fall meeting that you go to, right, on the calendar?
Yeah, and that changed to October.
Yeah,
Okay, so as long as that's not October 12th, because if it's October 12th, then we're gonna
I think
change.
it's the sixth,
No, I think it's before that.
the fifth and
Okay,
sixth, I
good.
think.
So then, yeah, because I know one year that there was a problem and
Mhm.
we had already advertised our budget, so it was like, no, we gotta have that meeting.
Yeah,
So,
That should be good. Okay, item C7, educator development initiatives.
Yes, this is just, I would like to bring, a document, it's a MOU, to the board in May, from Indiana Wesleyan University. And so it's no secret that, there's a staff shortage for, teachers across the nation and in Indiana. So a lot of schools, higher education are putting together some agreements to help us, help communities, pave the pathway for transition to teaching. And so Indiana Wesleyan met with our administrator several months ago to talk about this. And so here's what the MOU would do. It would provide discounted rates for anybody that we think. So if we have a paraprofessional who we want to send back to school, or they would want to go back to school, they would have we would have our person, Melissa, who I know from IWU, they would have some discounted rates. Now, what is open, and we do not have to declare, is some schools pay for it. Some schools offer it and reimburse, and some schools just wait to see if there's a real shortage or not. We don't have to commit to any of that as a board. It can be case by case. But my thought is that if we did have somebody who is interested, that we would already have a program to direct them to. And so that's what the memorandum of understanding would be if we signed it next month. It doesn't mean we have to pay for it. That would be something that we probably need to address down the road. But it's just having a place for us to send our people to if they wanted to. Southmont uses it right now.
I didn't know, we currently, is IU, are we partnered with someone, or not
We
partnered?
probably used IU, we've made the Western Governors is another organization that we get a lot of teachers from, and they could still use that. This is just something that we would be able to say, oh, you want to do that? We have IWU, here's the form, and there's a discounted rate, and then they have relationship with us that we could work with. And there's transition to teaching, that would be somebody who has a bachelor's degree, or this might be somebody who doesn't have any college experience. They have 3 or 4 different programs. So what I'd like to do is send that to you guys here in the next several weeks through board notes, so you can get a chance to look at it and then bring it for approval at the May meeting. But no, we are not committing to whether we are paying for this or not. I don't think we need to do that right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Any questions on that?
So it's just that first established partnership.
Yes, yes, mm-hmm.
Very good. C8 project update.
So we're making some progress. We are pretty much on schedule. The weather somehow has played a little bit of a factor, but for the most part, we're on schedule. And the idea is to be done by August 1st with all of the projects. And so I just have a few pictures here that I sent that I wanted to share. But we're making good progress, but right now we're to the point where once school is out and there are no students in the building, they can really get some work done. And Chris and Scott have been attending the meetings and our principals as well. So if you guys want to add anything else, you can, but.
No, I think
we're
they've been
making good
coordinating and
progress.
doing a very nice job, and
Yeah.
I
Is that
think the
the
meetings have been
cafeteria
very beneficial because
That
when they
was-
see
that was the
problems, they
pool.
discuss it and they address it versus
That's the
just
pool.
moving through it. And I think
Right.
that's been a big problem
Oh.
with past projects.
And
They
Tech
don't
Tom
cover
being
all the
the
time.
project manager, that's their job, that they're
Yep.
looking out for us.
Mhm.
The pool, yeah, they've been working on that and it's covered really well, so they didn't have to drain the pool.
And they got a double door in
Put
there.
a
so they
double
could get
door
the
in.
Crane in easier.
Yeah. The cafeteria at Otterburn, the dining space, hasn't started yet.
Okay.
But they did take the bleachers out and they did take the divider wall out so that they can get in there and get to work on the gym floor as soon as school's out.
That brick matched really well. I'm like, you
I
can't
know,
even tell it's
yeah.
an addition whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say we're pretty pleased with things.
I don't know who had to come up with that pattern, but that's kind of crazy to follow.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 4 light bricks, dark bricks, 6 light bricks, dark bricks. And that's looking nice too.
Yes, it is looking nice, yeah. And so far, the budget, we're within budget, and we'll have some extra money for the netting that goes along the side of this, so it doesn't get damaged by baseball.
Baseball, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah. Okay.
Okay, no old business to discuss. E, new business. E1, consider staff report and other personnel items. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion, consider staff report and other personal items.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any questions or anything to add to the staff report before we vote? Okay, all in favor of considering the normal staff report items, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. E2, consider approval of the following field trip requests. Prairie Crossing Elementary 6th grade students to Camp Tecumseh from September 8, 2026 through September 10th, 2026. Can I get a motion for that, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the field trip request for Prairie to go to Camp Tecumseh.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Is there any question or discussion on that? All in favor of accepting that, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. E3, consider approval of a 10-hour workdays, 40-hour work week, starting May 28, 2026 through July 31st, 2026.
I'll make a motion to consider approval of the 10-hour workdays, 40 hours per week, starting on May 28, 2026 through July 31st, 2026.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any questions, discussion?
It's pretty standard for the summer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing this several years and it
Yeah, I
seemed to
think so,
work out
before
really
we
well.
It was when Ross was here, we started.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's how long
That's
it's
been a while.
I think I would like to have Fridays off in the summer. I
Yeah.
was doing that same job. So I think it's great. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. E4, consider approval to award the 2026 bus bid to Midwest Transit, IC/Collins.
I'll make a motion to approve the award to the 2026 bus bid to Midwest Transit IC Collins.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any questions on that? We did have the breakdown of all three companies. All in favor?
Aye.
Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Oh, any opposed? Sorry. Guess not. E5, consider approval of new job descriptions. Get a motion for that, please.
I'll make a motion to consider approval of new job descriptions.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or clarification on any of those? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. F, comments, public comments. We do have anybody? No, nobody for non-agenda items? Guess not. And any random comments from anyone?
I